So Meta just announced that by 2026, all of their ads, their entire Meta ad platform is going to be fully AI generated content, fully AI driven. And I mean, if you're in the marketing world, this must terrify you. If you're in the business world, you're probably ecstatic, because if you've ever gone into the Meta ad platform for the first time, it's exasperating. It's exhausting. A/B testing, uploading different types of creative content, trying to find your right audience, look-like audience, keyword measurements, geolocating. It's exhausting. Not to mention that you have to build out your entire funnel. You need the CRM, you need nurture campaigns, follow-ups, all that. But we won't get into all that in this video. But what is extremely clear is that the marketing world is going to be completely flipped on its head. Completely flipped on its head. Meta anticipates it's going to do about $45 billion in ad revenue this quarter. I mean, it's just such an immense amount of revenue. That's not even taking into account all the other ad platforms in the way that they work. Google, Amazon, PPC, etc. But if you're in the marketing world, you have to be completely flipped on your head. You know, I'm in a bunch of marketing groups because I have a marketing and media production agency. And actually, you might be surprised, I actually am super excited about this. I just think it's going to completely revamp the market. And I'll give you a few examples of things that are changing already. But one of the things that I think is important from a business perspective is that there are too many people out there that are trying to learn from people that have executed on systems and skills that don't matter. So for example, if you're thinking to yourself, I'm going to build a marketing agency using GoHighLevel, ClickFunnels, something like that, you know, because I'm learning from a guy that started his agency 10 years ago. He's the best in the business. It's like the skills that he learned aren't going to be relevant anymore. That entire business model isn't going to be relevant anymore. I mean, you know, some of the concepts maybe, but you're learning something that was relevant 10 years ago. In fact, you want to be learning something that's hyper relevant now that people aren't aware of. We want to be finding those blue ocean strategies, something that's untested, that hasn't been seen yet, and you can be the best at. And again, I'll give you some examples of that too. But I'll give you one example of a model that's completely changed on its head. I got my start in podcasting. That's how I grew my agency to 6 figures. Basically, essentially editing podcasts for people. And I still see people out there trying to do this too. They're making social media posts like, you need to have a podcast, I disagree. I think the podcasting world is essentially dead for most people. I don't think it makes sense. I'll give you an example why. AI generated podcasts are obscenely easy and almost free to create. It's ridiculous. I have a colleague, he owns a friend/colleague, he has a very successful title agency here in South Florida. And he was able to create a podcast in 30 minutes, and he never said a word. He went to Google's Notebook LM, it's a Google software, Notebook LM. He generated the script of all these different, you know, like mortgage, real estate, title type of information that's hyper relevant to people in the Coral Springs, Parkland, Broward County area. Generated the script, asked Notebook LM to read the script as in an interview style for a podcast, downloaded that and uploaded it to Spotify for Podcasters, which is a free platform. So essentially for free, he never said a word and was able to generate a podcast. And he showed it to me. It was live on Spotify. It sounded awesome. It sounded excellent. Now, you could take it a step further and say, use 11 Labs to generate the voice, you know, because the voices that were created by Google Notebook LM were not his voice. It was the voice of just random AI agents. It was a boy and a girl. They sounded very real. It was excellent. But, you know, you could take it a step further and integrate the 11 Labs API so you could clone your voice. So again, I can see a relevancy in podcasting for network building, but I just think, frankly, I think that there's better ways to do that. So again, this is an example of me looking at what's happening. I'll give you another example. I do a lot of YouTube videos, obviously. I create a lot of social media content. And historically, what I would do with clients is have them get on their camera, get on their mic, and record the video from their home office. Very hard for people to do this. They struggle. They're business owners. They can't always do this efficiently. But now I can use a program called Hey Gen to clone their face. I can use 11 Labs to clone their voice. I can use my huge database of notes and information on their business, like standard operating procedures, data from the internet and trends. I could create scripts, and all of a sudden I can create a ton of AI generated video content for them using, for pennies on the dollar. So again, I'm bringing this up is because if you're in some sort of creative space, if you're in marketing space, you need to be thinking a little bit differently now. But let's get back to Meta and Meta's announcement before I get too far off track. So what is Meta doing? Basically, they're saying that you don't need to hire a marketing agency anymore. You don't need to pay a media buyer $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 a month to run your ads. You don't need them anymore because Meta is going to do all of that for you. Okay, so what does that look like exactly? Well, when you log into Meta's ad platform, it's going to ask you a couple questions. And the questions are going to be something, it's going to say, upload a picture of your product or tell us about your product or service. Upload a picture. And then, what are your goals? Do you want leads? Do you want sales direct? Like, where do you want to drive your traffic? Is it to a calendar appointment? Is it to a sales page? Is it to grow subscribers on your channel? Whatever. And that's it. And then what Meta is going to do is it's going to automatically create the ads using AI. It's going to automatically find your ideal audience using AI, and it's going to push it out. Not only that, it is going to be A/B testing constantly. And what it's going to do is it's going to serve up custom ads to people based on their interests, based on their location. And let me give you an example. Let's say you're running ads to, middle-aged women for a new cleaning product. Well, it might show, if it's showing the image to a Black woman living in downtown Chicago, it'll probably show an image of a Black woman living in downtown Chicago using the product and being really excited as she speaks in some of the dialect or mentions even maybe a local landmark that's close by. And you get the picture. It can be completely customized and dynamic instantly. And they're betting that that's going to increase conversions, and I'm betting that it will as well. Because quite frankly, most marketers overpromise and underdeliver. They'll say like, oh, well, we have the magic sauce that's going to give you the exact result that you want, the exact result that you need, when in actuality, the AI is just going to be able to do it better. Let me ask you a question here and write in the comments below. Have you ever written an email and you spent an hour, be like, oh, this is a great email, it's really good, I spent a lot of time on it, only to go to ChatGPT and ask it to write out an email for your purpose, and it does it 10 times better in 2 minutes, 10 seconds. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I mean, I know guys that have made millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars writing email, building out email nurture sequences. Their business is, so I'm not gonna say their business is dead, but it's completely changed because they are becoming less relevant, because people that aren't experts are gonna be able to come in. And this is a core concept. I talked about this in a previous video, is that historically, the way that we become successful and wealthy is by being hyper-focused on one idea, one specialization. We become the best at that. I am the best email copywriter, for example. I'm the best YouTube marketer. I am a radiologist. I am the best architect in my town. I'm the best accountant for attorneys. Like, that model of being hyper specialized is not as relevant now. We're moving into an era where AI agents are going to be more effective. And you're already seeing this in radiology. AI is, I want to say 60% more effective at finding cancerous tumors. So one of the highest paying jobs fresh out of college is now basically made irrelevant. So that $150,000 college degree that you worked on, the 10, 20 years of time that you put in to become the best at what you do, it's just not really relevant anymore. And that's crazy to me. The era of the expert specialist has ended, and the era of the competent, critical thinking generalist has begun. And what I think and where I'm going with that is you want to understand the tools that are available. You want to be able to leverage them to get the best result with whatever project you're working on. And you don't want to think as the financial officer of your organization or the marketing officer of your organization or the sales leader of your organization. You want to think of the CEO of your organization. And as the CEO, you're able to say, okay, all you different specialists go out and execute on these tasks. When it comes back, does it pass the smell test? Yes. Sounds good. And so it's just a fundamental change. And quite frankly, this is going to take out a large sector of lower level workers, entry level workers, and so on and so forth, and middle managers as well. You're just not going to need them. You might have like your let's say your chief marketing officer of your organization, maybe your chief marketing officer had several supervisors and middle managers and entry level people underneath him. Let's say he's managing 20 different people beneath him. You're probably able to eliminate 90% of them because the chief financial officer is going to really be better at the smell test and just be able to execute all those. He's going to be able to send out AI agents to handle all these things. You're going to have an AI agent. He's not going to need a media buyer. Do you understand how impactful that is for marketers? That is where marketers made the most of their money. They say if we take 10% of what you're spending in ad spend. If you're spending $100,000 a month on Facebook ads, well, that means you need a lot of attention, and we need to spend a lot of time reviewing your ads and make sure that they're optimized, that we're creating lookalike audiences, and we're retargeting, and we're testing, A/B testing creative copy all the time. They're not going to do that anymore. So their entire business model is screwed, which is good for you as a business owner. It's bad for the entire marketing world, which maybe you don't really care so much about. So I just think that that's so fundamental that it's pretty shocking. I mean, Anthropic CEO recently announced that 50% of entry white collar jobs will likely vanish in the next 5 years. 50% of the entry level jobs. I mean, if you're thinking about going to college right now, you got to think about, what am I actually going there for? What am I learning? Quite frankly, I think you're better off just learning how to develop apps. I mean, I'm in the middle, and I'll talk about this more probably in another video, but I have no coding experience. Last week, I started on an AI project. It's a book tutor. It helps kids read and write better, and it grades them on their comprehension. It recommends books. It gives rewards for completion of projects. Parents are able to give rewards, create custom rewards. It's all of that. It rides off of the Amazon affiliate program. It rides off of ChatGPT's understanding of reading comprehension and prompts. It's all driven. I don't have any coding experience. I started the app last Tuesday, and this week it's almost good to go. I expect to have it completed and going into alpha testing this week. I'll send it out to probably my followers on Facebook, my newsletter list, friends at church, things like that. But if I was going into, honestly, if I was going to college or university right now, I would probably say, let me take a year off, because a lot of the stuff they're going to be teaching, and this goes back to another concept that I mentioned earlier. A lot of stuff they're teaching is the stuff that worked 10 years ago, 20 years ago. It's the same thing that you're going to be seeing in a lot of different courses, but I think the best thing that you can be doing right now is playing, experimenting, staying curious, and trying new things, and finding that secret sauce. And you are not going to be, I wasn't expecting to go into this topic here, but you are not going to be hireable if you are not leveraging AI to be competitive, and you're not marketing yourself as an AI relevant company. It's just not going to work, because the reality is the vast majority of money that you were spending on marketing in the past, you're not going to need to spend it anymore, because you're going to go into, and by the way, as Meta rolls this out, please believe that Google's going to roll it out, the YouTube is going to roll it out, that Amazon's going to roll it out. All these platforms, X is going to roll this out. All these platforms are going to have AI-enabled ads, AI-enabled marketing platforms. So that ad agency, sorry to say it, but adapt or die. Now's the time. I hope you enjoyed this walk and talk, and I hope you go ahead and execute, because I want success for you in this AI world, all right? If you haven't yet, stay up to date, AIupdate.ai. Get my prompt guide, stay up to date. I'll catch you in the next walk. See ya.